What's up? What's up, y'all? Happy New Year. I'm sorry. What up, though? Hey, Cordell. Worth news. News worth sharing. What up, though? Hey, y'all. What up, Brucey? What up, Patricia? What up, Roberta Flack fans? What up, Victory? What up, SG Row? I see you, Soror. Yep. What's up, y'all? Happy New Year. What's in the cup? Ruby red grapefruit juice and ice. I ain't drinking. Shit, if I was drinking, it might end up being bad for somebody. Because my feelings might just be a little too, what they say, when you drink, you speak sober thoughts. Well, I always speak sober thoughts, but if I was having a little cocktail, my thoughts would be even more sober. And, you know, I've been told a few people how I really feel. It's funny, I was talking to my cousin, and I was telling her, you know, it's been a lot going on. First of all, let me start this off right, because this is the reason that I got on this live. Because I really was like, oh, you know, we'll save the lives for a time when there's better things to talk about. But I think it's important, even when things are not so great. I think it's important that you reach out and you touch people and you speak to people and you say hello to people and you offer encouragement when you can. And that's why I wanted to get on this live. You know, it's been a long ass year already, and we only a couple weeks into it. It's been one of those, you can keep this shit. Let's fast forward to 2026, you know? But then I started saying, hey, listen, God is, I think, you know, it was funny because I was talking to, I said this already, but I'm saying it again. I'm tired, y'all. I'm not tipsy. I'm tired. I'm drinking Ruby Red. But I was telling my cousin, like, you know, it's like weird. It's just weird energy all over the planet. And I was thinking about, you know, I was feeling some type of way, feeling sorry for myself, right? I've been feeling sorry for myself since December 16th, 2024. Well, I've been, you know, I don't really feel sorry for myself that much, but I've been feeling some type of way since December 16th, 2024, which is when the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals threw my case out. Right. I thought I wasn't going to be talking to y'all about this shit this year. I thought this year we would not be talking about it, except to say that we was going to trial. But unfortunately, that's not how it ended up. But I was feeling some type of way. You know, I've been processing this whole crazy ass experience that I've been through over the years. And y'all been on it with me, the ride with me, right? And then I started to really check myself when this LA wildfire situation happened, right? I started to really process my blessings, and I really started to process my perspective, right? Because, you know, when things don't go our way, we get into that space of, you know, why me, Lord, right? I've always been a why not me type of person, but I ain't gonna hold y'all up. When I got that order back from the appeals judges, 10 days after I went and 10 days before Christmas, baby, the energy was all, well, y'all gonna see, because we've been filming everything. That's another thing. I haven't just been in a hole crying about it. I've been really proactive about a lot of things. But the LA wildfires really made me put a lot into perspective. It really made me realize that as long as you have your health and you have your family, everything else is material. Everything else you can rebuild, you know? And I know that that is more than a notion, and I don't want to minimize or be dismissive about what people have lost, because I have friends who lost everything. But I do want to put it in perspective for myself so that I can get over the hump of feeling like, why me? Why is this happening to me? I think it was coming off of the election, and then straight out the election into this other bullshit that just really had me like, what the fuck? Oh, and I'm cussing again. I'm back on Twitter and I'm cussing again. Go figure. And thankfully I'm back on Twitter in time enough to keep my little 50,000 followers. But I really had to put it all in perspective and be grateful. Even though, who knows what the future brings for me, for us, for our home, because the court system is definitely on some I didn't know it was like that type shit, right? But it's just further confirmation that, homes and cars and vacations and clothes and, those luxuries, those items that are, and a home is not a luxury, a home is a necessity, all right? So again, I'm just kind of rambling off my thoughts, so I don't want anybody to be offended, especially people who have been impacted by the devastating wildfires. But I'm sure that those people who got out of there with their lives could probably agree that, at some point you just have to be grateful for the breath, that the air that is in your lungs, the ability to speak, the ability to articulate your thoughts and your feelings. And I'm really grateful for that. And that is the reason I was like, you know what? I was going to really take like a 60-day getaway from social media, but I was like, I have a voice to add to the conversation about overcoming tremendous obstacles and tremendous odds, right? This first 12 days of January, for me, for years, it's been very difficult, right? My mom's birthday is the 9th. The release of the album is the 10th. Maxie's birthday is the 11th. And the 12th is the day that I like to call it my my Black Women's Ownership Day. It's the day that I made a decision in 2022 to pursue justice. Justice that I am so disappointed I'm still on the journey to find, right? So I just wanted to get on here and embrace y'all for this next chapter in my life. The thing that I'm really excited about is this case motivated me to go on ahead and finish my book. So it's done. It's with the editors now. I've been working on it for a number of years. And, you read it and you're like, maybe it's not quite right. And, of course, I was waiting for the case to be over, which it is not. Baby, we're going all the way to D.C. We're going all the way to the Supreme Court. We're going where we got to go. We're doing what we got to do. And it ain't over. I'm just getting fucking started. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, my energy is real different this year. But I decided to go on ahead and finish the book because, I decided to finish this chapter or this volume of the book because I feel like there's a lot for people to learn about the system and how fucked up the system is, right? I was looking at Angie Stone's video. I talked to Angie a couple days ago. I was looking at Victory Boyd, who's a Rock Nation artist, her video. We covered it on Worth News. Worth News is not She Speaks Live. Worth News is not Nights with Nicci. Worth News is just that news. Very sterile, very straightforward, very to the point. But we need that because we don't have a black news channel in all the whole of the world. Not that I know of. If you know of a black news channel, please let me know. Tag me. But what we're attempting to do is just getting back to news and information and content that matters to our community, right? And I, felt like, or feel like, because I'm still in this space, this year, as much as I wanted it to be about celebrating 30 years of Brownstone, celebrating the 30th anniversary of From the Bottom Up, which happened January 10th. I really wanted to be in a space of celebrating. But instead, I'm going deeper into this war. And I am going to use every resource and outlet available to me to make sure that I take advantage of every opportunity I have to get to justice. I'm super disappointed in my experience in the Ninth Circuit. I'm super duper disappointed. And I'm disappointed because as a black woman who has been in the middle of a high stakes copyright infringement litigation, started as early as 2020. The claim didn't happen until January 12, 2022, but I've been fighting this thing as early as 2020, meaning paying for lawyers for that amount of time. To get to 2024 and to have a panel of 3 judges make a determination that there is nothing to see here, and uphold the district court's decision to dismiss my case, made it clear to me that there is a much bigger problem that needs to be addressed. And it also made it clear to me that I'm one of the few people crazy enough to actually go as far as I need to go within the legal system to actually address it. Now, whether or not it ever ends up in my favor, at this point, that's not even as important as making sure that going forward, other people, other creatives, other artists, the Victory Boyds, the Angie Stones, anybody else who will stand up for his or herself, right? To make sure that you understand that the deck is stacked, right? Due process, denial is the actual real whole thing, right? Because at the end of the day, I know what happened in my case. Katori knows what happened. Lionsgate CEO, who I gave my script to, knows what happened, right? And whether or not we ever resolve that issue is not as important as learning and discovering whether it is worth it for creatives to invest the time, the energy, the blood, the sweat, the tears, to risk your home, to risk your family, to risk your life, advocating and pushing for justice, right? And I say that because I wish somebody would have told me to save the $40,000 that we paid a expert who'd been in the business for 33 years, who's a writer, who has been an expert professionally for a long time. And get this, listen, get this. This is the shit that I really want y'all to take in. I've never met this expert a day in my life. I've never had one conversation with this expert. And the reason why I never had one conversation with the expert is because the law says that you cannot have conversations with experts. You have to leave them to do their job so that they're not influenced by your perspective on your case. So anybody else who pursues intellectual property, copyright litigation, anyone else who pursues, like in the case of Victory Boyd, I want her to understand. I want Angie Stone to understand. I want all the if you have an idea or you have a concept, My soror, I saw recently where my soror, be very, 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 very clear about the products that you're purchasing, right? Afro Unicorn, make sure you get it directly from her. Go to her website, get it directly from her. Because what my case has now done, which is the reason I have to go to DC for the Copyright Office and the Solicitor General and the Library of Congress and all of these places, because I'm going to all of these places to get answers, right? The reason I have to go to all those places, the reason I have to get the bullhorn and really amplify this is because now what my case has done is my case has set a precedent that says my judge, the judge in my case, Judge Wilson, he's the only other judge, the only other time an expert's report was, for example, the appeals judge asked, is there case law that says an expert needs to be trained in literary, meaning he needs an English degree or some shit like that, right? Now, mind you, this guy has worked with, the Puzo family, like I said, 33 years, well-trained expert. He's been doing this forever. It cost me $40,000 plus, right? Which I would have never spent if I knew they was going to throw the shit in the trash. Would have never done that. But that's the reason why it's so important for me to stay in this fight. So I can prevent a Victory Boyd or Angie Stone or any other person from spending that kind of money on an expert. If now the precedent becomes, we can just throw that shit away. Like it's irrelevant. Like it means nothing. Right? So being in a situation where all of your evidence, meaning the depositions redacted, nobody can see that. The fact that I sat down with the CEO and gave him my shit. Nobody can really, in a court of law, hear or learn or know that happened. Even though we paid for a whole deposition and paid for mediations and all kind of shit. Everything I paid all this money for was thrown in the trash. Because judges decided that they are better experts than an expert with 33 years experience. The judge in my case decided, all the judges, the judge in my case and the 3 appeals court judges all made the determination that they know better what gay and non-binary and gender fluid and all of that is. They know better than what that is than the expert knows or than a trier of fact, a normal, regular, everyday person. And they decided as a matter of law that Uncle Clifford was more gay than Tata Burlesque, even though Tata means auntie, right? But those are the things that experts bring to the table. Needless to say, expert report thrown out, the deposition where we deposed Katori, we deposed the CEO, we deposed Nico Anand, we deposed those folks. You'll never see that. You'll never see what they had to say. Because wealthy, well-funded corporations have the power to make things happen that underfunded plaintiffs do not. And if that is how it's going to be, and you can't have your experts in, you can't have your depositions showing up, the proof of access. Here's the thing. This is the gag. This is the shit that's like really, really crazy. It doesn't matter that 4 people said, hey, yeah, the meeting happened. The lawyer who referred me to the meeting, who's friends with the CEO that I met, my manager at the time, my partner, it doesn't matter that all of these people know that this meeting happened and saw the handoff of my materials. All of that is irrelevant. Okay, so we can't use that. We also can't use the 57 comparisons in the video because nobody sees anything similar in that video. Not similar enough, not to win the case, but similar enough to go to trial. That's what this whole thing for 4 long years has been. Determining whether or not I get the right to due process. I'm not asking them to reconsider something that a determination that the jury made. I am asking them, and I've been asking them, and that's the reason why I've been in social media and I've been on these rants, and every time y'all look up, I'm talking about P-Valley, and every time y'all look up, I'm talking about Lionsgate. Oh, get ready for 2025 because you might as well I might as well go and get my Lions t-shirt. Shout out to them Detroit Lions, by the way. Detroit versus everybody. What up, though? But yeah, it's not going nowhere. So grab a seat, get some popcorn. Where we are now is we have asked them to rehear, right? To rehear because there is no real clear understanding of whether or not an expert's report actually means anything. And if an expert report does not mean anything, right? Like if my case now has added to the precedent that expert reports mean nothing at all, then people need to know that before they go spending $40,000 and $50,000 on an expert, right? Like our whole everything has been leveraged, right? If there's no need for a jury, if the whole thing is you don't get a jury, right? A jury, you absolutely not. That's what this whole thing is boiled down to. To invest and be in debt $2 million plus. $2 million. I'm going to say it one more time. I owe my attorneys over $1 million, and they ordered me to pay the defendants 6 figures. I ain't got none of it. So at the end of the day, I'm not worried about what I ain't got, because I ain't got the shit, period. But the point is just, before I got to the point where I invested $2 million, why in the entire fuck didn't somebody say at the start of it, oh, these aren't the same, there's nothing to see here? Because here's the thing. My evidence has not changed since the day I filed this case. That's the shit right there that has me on fire. The fact that my evidence has been the same since the day I filed the case. The fact that I met with the CEO, the 57 comparisons. Only thing is we found a few more comparisons. And just to make sure that people didn't feel like I was just on some crazy ass emotional over the top rant, right? We got the expert because I was told by my legal team, which had been the standard all the way up to the point they got to me. When they got to me, the whole shit just changed. Oh no, so no, we're going to be tried as a fact. But this is where there's a problem. And this is where I'm just all the way in it. 10 toes all the way, getting louder, getting more Detroit about it, getting more straightforward, because I am not going to sit back and lose everything without fighting with everything I got. They got the wrong one. Or the right one, however you look at it. Because when you don't have anything to lose, I mean, what the hell? So now where we are is we have filed a petition to have the appeals court rehear my case en banc, right? And the reason why we're doing that is because the Ninth Circuit has to figure out exactly what the uniformity is, right? Because the reason why I was kind of geeked up in a very naive way, now that I've discovered that they just threw my shit out like it just didn't matter, right? Whole grandson's education, everything we've been building for all these years means absolutely nothing, because they know without a doubt, no question whatsoever, that there is no plausibility, no possibility that those 57 comparisons that all of us see, there is nothing to present to a jury here. This is frivolous and this is some bullshit. I don't believe that. Now, you could take all of the financial shit away from me, and you could take the fact that, first of all, everybody know that Katori, come on, give me a break. If you still think that was an original idea from her, then, go holler at your girl. And matter of fact, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart, and I'm going to say this with my whole chest. If you following her and you watching P-Valley, just click unfollow, please, today. Like, don't follow me, don't talk to me, don't associate with me. That's what I'm on 2025. Keep that shit over there. If you support Katori, if you support anything associated with P-Valley, I applaud you for being a trooper. Go over there and support that over there, but unfollow me, because I don't need you in my space. Because this next level that I'm going on, my husband's probably coming in here to tell me not to be doing what I'm doing right now, but I am. This next level that I'm on right now is I need all of the fake fucks out of my whole entire universe away from me. And I've seen a couple of people over there, Amen Corner and high-fiving Katori Hall. And if you follow me, please unfollow me now. Because there's no room for you to be following me and her. Because this next level is going to be way different. And I want you to be in a compromising situation. You understand what I'm saying? But back to what I said. So we are asking the court, which it is like finding a needle in the haystack. We do know that. But I'm the one that's going to look for the needle in the haystack. We're asking the court to review my petition, en banc petition, which means that it goes to 11 appeals court judges now instead of 3. And the reason that I think it is important for us to have an en banc hearing and to go to 11, which, the way things are going, I'm pretty certain that is not going to be the case. But that is the step that you have to take before you go to the Supreme Court. The reason we need to do that is because there are several other judges in the Ninth Circuit who would probably agree with me, right? And I say that because I've watched every single copyright infringement litigation Ninth Circuit hearing and any other hearing that was available online, because they're all available for you to see online. And as I watch them, I see, like, there's a Judge Wardlaw, who made it very, very clear. She says she thinks that it is hubris for a district judge to unilaterally make a decision in chambers as if he knows. He's been trained in theater. He's been trained at television. He's been trained in writing scripts. These are judges. These people are not trained in theater and scripts. One of the appeals court judges asked, and I mean no disrespect to any of the judges. I'm just having a conversation with y'all right now. I disagree with the decisions, which I'm a human being and there's freedom of speech, so I can definitely say that. But I'm not just disagreeing with the decision out of being emotional and erratic and, it didn't go my way. It is because the investment that my family has made, the risks financially and every other way that my family has taken could have all been avoided if there was some uniformity in the Ninth Circuit. And that's why I'm going to D.C. And that's why I'm going to the Supreme Court. And that's why I got a really, 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 really big interview that I told y'all about that's coming. And there's going to be a whole conversation about it. Because if you can't win in the court of law, then sometimes you just have to lean on the court of public opinion. And I'm really good at that. And I'm taking it to a whole nother level of good at that, right? Because there needs to be an understanding so other families can stop losing their homes, can stop losing their opportunities for generational wealth and wellness. It's so easy for the courts to, when it comes to Black, BIPOC, African-American people, it's so easy for the court to make a determination when it's time to lock your ass up. It's so easy for the court to make a determination when we're on the other side of it. But when you are the victim of some stuff that has not gone properly, when your family and everything we've worked for, I got a whole sister. Y'all, listen, my sister's in the hospital right now. Thank God. She had a deadly infection that we were able to manage and maintain. The doctors, shout out to the doctors at the hospital who have been doing a wonderful job. This is her 5th surgery, right? This is why I'm like, fuck the bullshit at this point. Because everything that we've been going through, all the resources that I've invested in this case and in this litigation, those are things that I could have been investing in being there for my sister to help her through this terminal fucking cancer that she has. Instead of playing around with a court system that isn't going to give you the benefit of a fucking jury. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And in order to get a clear understanding of what this system represents and how you can navigate it, we got to have conversations at every level. What good are the relationships that I have? What good are the friendships, the relationships that I have if I can't lean on those people to help me have a better understanding of this system and what this means, right? I have been so deeply involved in educating myself on law, so deeply involved in educating myself on what has happened to other people in the past. I am absolutely going to school to become a paralegal. The goal is in the fall, based on all the other things that we have going on. It's not time out for politically correct shit, because obviously, I mean, look at who our president is. I mean, at this point, we might as well all just say what the hell we got to say, because that's the world we're about to live in, where you just say what you got to say. All that sugarcoating and pussyfooting around and being nice about shit, when you're losing everything, all because a system that is in place has decided that they're going to take the role of the jury out of their hands and act as triers of fact and make determination on cases that ultimately shape copyright law, meaning it is now more difficult after my case. It is more difficult for people to prove that a large, well-funded, multi-billion-dollar corporation took their shit. It's more difficult because now my case goes down in history as a case where you can have 57 side-by-side comparisons. You can have witnesses to the fact that you left your materials with the CEO of Lionsgate. You can have everybody in social media who went and looked at the comparison video saying, oh, no, there's something to see here. And still have judges say, oh, no, you're not going to trial. Nope, go home. See you later. Bye-bye. That's not fair. And I'm not just going to take it lying down. You know, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but when I see judges like Judge Paez, who's made it very clear, we're not experts. You have to be sure. Judge Paez said you have to be sure. This is in the Pirates of the Caribbean case. That case was reversed because the judge said we're not experts. We can't make this determination. This needs to go to trial. The Shape of Water, Disney versus Zindel. They made it clear you got to be sure. District judges are not experts. And if you had a question or a concern about my expert in his 33 years, the thing is, here's the thing. You can't let my expert's report stay in there and not let me go to trial. You understand what I'm saying? Because the expert's report said unequivocally, without a doubt, the same thing that all of us said, the same thing that all of us see, right? But none of us, ordinary observers, and our opinions matter because we have a court system that will make a determination after all these years. That's the thing. Like if somebody told me 3 years ago, before I was $2.5 million in debt, that my case wasn't going to go forward, then I wouldn't have put another dime into it. But it's like a setup. It's like pay all these lawyers, go through this process, pay the expert $40,000, pay for the mediation, pay to go back and forth traveling to LA, spend all this money, risk your home, not able to be there for my sister who is terminally ill, not able to be there for my grandson. He loses all of his opportunities to be in sports and this and that and the third, going on stage with a tremendous amount of stress, trying to work through that. None of that would have happened. We would have nipped that shit in the bud well before we got this deep in the hole. And to get this deep in the hole, to have my family leveraging and about to lose everything, and to tell me that what I know is true is not, requires just further exploration. So that is what we are doing now. So now we are going for the needle in the haystack. We're hoping that some of these other judges who have ruled in these other cases, Zindel versus Disney, even in another thing that's really crazy, and Victory Boyd and Angie Stone, y'all need to know this part, right? There's a case called Led Zeppelin, right? Zeppelin versus Skidmore versus Zeppelin, right? Stairway to Heaven. So I'm gonna give y'all a quick and dirty on the case. So basically, long story short, there's this group Taurus who did this song, you know, and the beginning of the song is, when you listen to the recorded copy, that's my dog over there growling, y'all. I mean, snoring. When you listen to the recorded or the recorded copy of the song, they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same. I mean, they sound exactly the same. But the thing is, when the gentleman copyrighted his song, you could not copyright sound recordings. You can only copyright sheet music. So this is the short version of it. So the sheet music version that he registered with the Copyright Office is not the same. It doesn't sound the same as the version that's on the radio, Because naturally, as an artist and as a creative, you do riffs, you do licks, you know what I'm saying? Like, notes written down are going to be different than when you actually interpret it and you actually create it and put it out there, right? So this went to an en banc hearing. En banc hearing means they had all the judges that were there but the difference between this case and my case is his case went to trial. I've never gotten a chance to go before a jury. They just don't want a jury to see my case for some reason, but we gonna find out. So long story short, they had this big en banc panel to discuss it, and they ended up losing because the deposit copy, meaning the copy that they filed with the Copyright Office, did not sound the same when the expert folks came in and played the notes that had been copyrighted. So despite the fact that this guy recorded a song that sounds exactly like Led Zeppelin's song, and here's the other part. Led Zeppelin toured with this guy. They had copies of this guy's song in their possession, and it sounds exactly the same. So yeah, maybe they saw it and heard it and said, hey, we're going to use this. But the fact that the deposit copy, the copy that he copyrighted, did not sound exactly the same as the copy he recorded, but did not copyright, because at the time that the guy copyrighted it, you could not copyright audio recordings. They ruled in favor of Led Zeppelin, knowing good and full well that those are the same songs, right? But one of the things that was said during this en banc hearing, I think it was Judge Owens who said this. I know all the judges by name and everything, babe. Don't play with me. Don't fucking play with me, because I know what I'm talking about right now, right? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to be one day, watch. The judge said, even if it was the worst expert ever, even if the expert just didn't, this is in another case, even if it was the worst expert ever, even if the expert didn't know what the heck he was talking about, we still have to consider it. Still plausible. It's still a possibility. But for some reason, which I'm determined to discover, for some reason, my case, with all the similarities, with the fact that I gave it to the CEO of the company that produces P-Valley, for some reason, my case just doesn't pass the smell test. I just need more than that. So what I'm hoping is that, and again, I'm clear, you guys, it's en banc, asking them to rehear it, asking them to reconsider it. It never happens. It hardly ever happens. I'm very, very, very clear on that. The en banc hearing is probably not going to happen, but we gonna ask for that shit any motherfucking way. Because I need clarity. I need clarity because our home is on the line. I need clarity because I want to make sure I'm not crazy, that what I see and what I said actually means something. Going to a jury should be a right of every American in this country. Having an opportunity for a trier of fact, an ordinary, everyday observer, having the opportunity to present your case. And you guys, listen, if I had gone to a jury and the jury was like, no, Miss Gilbert, I'm sorry, we don't see that, y'all wouldn't even be hearing nothing else from me. I wouldn't be trying to like appeal that decision, because now we've presented it to 12 people who have made a determination that there's nothing to see here. But the fact that I didn't even get the courtesy of having an opportunity in a court that has said expert testimony does indeed help. It helps in every case but mine. And I need to understand why. As a Black woman, I need to understand why all these other cases, The Shape of Water was allowed to go to a jury, and the lawyer who argued the appeal in The Shape of Water happened to be a former appeals court judge. The Disney versus, they went, Francesca Gregorini, she's going to trial. Matter of fact, her trial has already started, I think. Her trial started today, the 13th. I was supposed to be in LA for that. All these other cases have been allowed to go before a jury. But not mine. Every single solitary day and every moment I think about it. I'm talking about it. I'm posting about it. I'm sharing educational, enlightening information and footage about it. Because as a human being in this country, where I am told that you have a right to a fair trial, the worst criminals on the face of the earth, you can get caught. A person could be standing there with a knife in their hand when the police come, and it could be bodies that have been stabbed all around them, and they still going to give him an opportunity to go to trial. They're still going to give him an opportunity to go before a jury. They're still going to give him an opportunity to argue his case. But me, a black woman, up against a corporation that put $100 million into a property that is significantly similar to mine, I can't do that. I don't get a trial. I don't get a jury. Oh yeah, we're going to take everything you got. You're going to pay these people over here $700,000. We're going to take your house. We're going to take your grandson's generational opportunities. We're going to take all that shit. And you don't even get a chance to go before a jury to determine whether or not we are taking this in a justified way. That's not justice. It's not fair. And I'm not just going to stand around and look like a clown and not pursue every single solitary legal remedy available to me. So, this is what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to get active. Because I was quite disappointed to see that it's kind of my fault because I posted the wrong link. But it's important for the public to watch this play out. It's important for the public because it could be you. It could be your daughter. It could be your cousin. It could be your spouse who ultimately has something stolen or taken from them and never has an eye. What is that? What is it? I need somebody to tell me. What is it? What is it that a mass murderer can go before a jury in a trial? Somebody who just destroys people's lives forever. Not trying to politicize this, but whoever was setting those fires is going to get a trial, is going to have a chance to go before a jury, and they catch them red-handed. But a copyright infringement litigation, a Nicci Gilbert Daniels, a Victory Boyd, an Angie Stone, or anybody else who says this major corporation has taken something from me. I believe in my heart and soul and spirit. And not only do I believe it, I got evidence, and every ounce of my evidence was not allowed to be presented to a jury. Think about that. Think about what that means for the future of anybody expecting due process. Think about what that means. Think about it. Seriously, let it sink in. Somebody does something to you, robs you of an opportunity, takes your intellectual property or your physical property or whatever, and you don't have the opportunity to go before triers of fact because you got 4 or 5 judges that know better than anybody. Ain't nothing to see here. And again, I'm not disrespecting the judges. I am simply saying, if you looked at those 57 comparisons, and here's the thing, I'm moving a little fast, and I'm a breathe for a minute, but y'all just have no idea. Like, well, maybe y'all do, because I've been sitting here talking about the shit for 5 hours. But to be in a situation where your hands are tied behind your back, you're already fighting a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They've already taken the depositions away, meaning they redacted the deposition. So there's nothing to see here. You can't hear what Katori said. You can't hear what the CEO said. And you can't hear what Nico Anand said because the judge doesn't want you to. You can't, I don't even know if you can hear what I said, but what I said really doesn't matter, right? What I said doesn't matter because you can't hear what the CEO said. I heard what they said. I watched the whole deposition. I watched the whole deposition. I know what they said. I want so desperately to tell you what they said. I really want to tell you what the CEO said, but guess what? I can't. I can't because they redacted it. There's nothing to see here. So I can't present any of my evidence. All right, we'll get an expert. The expert is not on an emotional rant on Instagram. The expert is a professional that's been in this business for 33 years. The expert has written books about copyright. The expert has given all sorts of incredible speeches and talked about this very issue, chain of title and all this other stuff. I'll stick with the expert. 33 years experience this expert has, and it just got cut out like it meant nothing. They don't care that I spent $40,000 on that expert that I'm still paying for. They don't care that I've spent $2 million to date that I'm responsible for this case. They don't care. I'm still not going to a jury. And I'm supposed to just, okay, oh, that's fine. Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Nope. We're going all the way to the Supreme Court. Now, I understand the Supreme Court is more difficult even in some cases than this en banc situation. But what I do have faith in is recently the Supreme Court made a really big ruling. And I'm going to tell y'all this, and then I'm going ahead and woosah. You know, coming in hot on 2025, because it is what it is. I done cried a river for a month. And now at this point, you know what happens after that. But the Supreme Court last year, there's a case of a brother who wrote a song, and I don't know if I'm giving y'all all the facts the way they are, but shorthand. He wrote a song, and the song made a ton of money, and it was licensed and all this other stuff, right? But the brother went to jail. So the music industry has this thing, and it's pretty much all labels, right? Where if you find an inconsistency in the accounting, you only have 3 years or something to be able to check them on it, right? So this is just a law or a rule. Like, I found some inconsistencies, and they were just like, oh, even though I did not have access to my statements, but if you find inconsistencies and it's outside of the 3-year window, then you just asked out. You can't collect your money. You just asked out. Well, this brother who had been locked up, who this song had made all this money or whatever, and they were like, oh, well, too bad you were in jail. It's the past 3 years, you can't do it. The Supreme Court overturned that. And now, as a creator and as an artist, there is no limitation. Well, there are some rules and things that you have to consider, but that whole, unless you do it in 3 years, you can't do it, that's over. And that's over because the Supreme Court ruled in favor of this creative. And what I hope and I pray is, after all this noise that I'm going to make this year, that the Supreme Court at least considers, for the sake of all the creatives that are coming after me, because this is the precedent that this court, appeals court and district court, has now set. Your expert does not matter. They can throw your expert out and make the decision for themselves, no matter how much evidence that you have. They can also redact and wipe out, like it never existed, the sworn testimony of the defendants that you are accusing of taking your shit. So all the defendants people got to do is be like, hey, sir, she might talk a little bit too much about this. So can you just redact all that and take all that away, what he said? Can we just get rid of that? And they're going to get rid of it, right? And then you go get an expert, and they're going to say, no, the expert is just mocking you. The expert is just parroting you. The expert doesn't see what all these other people see. He's just saying what you say, even though this man has been doing this for 33 years and I've never met him. I don't think that anybody would ever risk their job and their livelihood for me, right? And to just agree with me. especially when the expert said that he typically does not even take copyright cases because they are so difficult to prove. He said that in the report. I normally don't even take these cases because they are so difficult to prove. But when I did my research and I did the Dubert analysis, or Dubert, or whatever that, Dobert, or whatever it is, Daubert. When I did that analysis and I took out the unprotectable elements and looked to see what was left over, because see, that's the other little trickery, right? They've developed this system where, like, it doesn't matter how much access you had. Like, literally, they said, it doesn't matter if Katori Hall and they were sitting right there and the script was sitting on the table next to him. If the people don't find that it's substantially similar, it doesn't matter that they had access. Now, that's the most unfair shit in the whole wide world. But, you know, it's the law that's been established. So you got to just kind of roll with it, right? But the thing that's supposed to prevent that from happening is you're supposed to be able to go get an expert. And the expert testimony is supposed to break everything down and put it through an extrinsic analysis. An extrinsic analysis is where they extract all of the things that are scenes of frere. And just like Judge Paez, who is also a Ninth Circuit judge, said, what is scenes of frere? He said, what is scenes of frere? What does that mean? Where does that come? This is a Ninth Circuit judge who I wasn't lucky enough to get, because there are judges that I believe if I was lucky enough to have those judges assigned to my case, then I might have stood a chance of saving my home and saving my grandson's college education and saving my family and being able to be there for my sister with brain cancer. If I had been given the opportunity to have a judge or judges, at least one of them, who's like, you know, this is plausible. She gave it to the CEO. You know, it's about, they said, yeah, listen, she going there tonight. They asked why the casino was only mentioned once or twice in my play, but it's mentioned multiple times throughout the season in P-Valley. I don't mean any disrespect to the judge who asked the question. I couldn't say nothing as much as I was sitting there like, I got the answer. My attorney, bless his heart, was in the most excruciating pain of his life on the day of our hearing, almost canceled, but pushed through, and had to go and have an emergency surgery immediately after the hearing. He could not even stand during the hearing. So when certain questions were asked, of course, he's trying to manage pain. He's been living with this case for years, and he did his best to answer. And he's like, you know, the casino is the major plot line in the show. And the judge says, yeah, but it's only mentioned once or twice because it's a play. It's a 2-hour play. So in 2 hours, we can't mention a casino 5 times. When the casino is mentioned in the beginning of the play and the whole entire motivation of the antagonist, who is there specifically to take over the club for casino development, then that establishes that this is about a bad guy coming to a casino that is on valuable land, trying to take it over. I'm from Detroit. That shit actually happened where I'm from. Gentrification due to a casino. But the judges didn't buy it. The judges said, oh yeah, you mentioned the casino. And Tata says, I know why you want this place so bad. I know all about the casinos you're trying to build. But it's just not enough for you to go to trial. Imagine that. I can't stand up and scream, no, wait, I can't. You know, wait, but the story is all about this guy trying to take over the casino. Even if the expert said, no, the casino's a major plot, how the hell can you get a fighting chance at due process if nobody cares about what you have to say? All people care about is making sure that you pay those millions of dollars in legal fees. It's unreal. One of the judges said, oh, well, Sokin's Cabaret is light and it's positive and it's light and it's not as serious and SKC is dark and whatever. It is set in one of the most impoverished cities in America. The women who work in the club are victims of sexual assault, domestic violence. Bianca, the lead in the show, is the product of rape. Guns are drawn. Hostages are taken. But no, P-Valley is darker because it's a fucking series with 10 episodes And it's a whole lot of other stuff that happens when you have the ability to tell a story in 10 hours versus the ability to tell a story in 2. None of that was considered. Even though my expert said it, even though I said it, even though we got side by side comparisons saying it, none of that was enough to convince the judges that I deserve the right to a trial. None of that. Nothing to see here. So I'm just trying to figure out how far we can take this. And then listen, when we discover that the deck is just stacked against us, and no matter how hard you try, and no matter how right you may be, my battery is about to go. That's God letting me know something. When we discover that it's impossible for you to win, I think maybe that is what God put me through this situation and my family through this situation to prove. That as Black people, as underfunded litigants, you can't win against the big boys with all the money. And if that's what this ultimately ends up teaching us, then at least it will save Victory and all those other people out there who believe that they deserve the right to protect the preeminent business assets that they create. And also, I'm gonna hurry up and get off of here because, you know, they playing the game again. Also, what it will tell you is that there's no need for a jury. It will tell you that courts can just make all the decisions and take on the role of trier of fact, and you don't need to go to a jury, right? Only time Black people get a jury is when it appears, it seems, it feels, right? Because I gotta be real careful about the shit I say, because, you know, hey, next thing you know, they gonna call about this video for sure. Oh, they gonna call about it for sure. But this is the thing. If the only time Black people can face a jury is when they're in trouble for doing some heinous, awful, terrible shit, we're in trouble. We are in serious, serious, serious trouble. There's no reason on God's green earth. And here's the thing, this live y'all getting, I took a month to calm down. So be clear. I was finna go on ahead and go in and just get into it. Immediately after I discovered, 10 days after I went to LA for this hearing, on the day that my husband buried his father, 10 days before Christmas, unable to spend the holiday with my sister with brain cancer because a court of law decided that I did not have any evidence supporting my claim. Nothing plausible. It is frivolous. There's nothing to see here. So guess what? We're going to go as far as we have to go within the parameters of the law to discover whether or not anybody stands a chance. Because if I don't, with all the evidence that I have, and the video evidence that I have, and the expert that I have, very few people do. And I want to save as many people as I can from paying millions of dollars, only to discover that you ain't even worth going to a jury. After we lost that presidential election, now discovering that we don't even have the right to due process or to get to a jury, when there are plenty of other judges in the Ninth Circuit who would disagree with this decision based on all the things that I've watched and all the things that I've seen. Again, to quote one of the Ninth Circuit judges, Wardlaw, it is hubris. She said, I think it is hubris for a district judge to sit in chambers and make this decision without a jury and without an expert testimony. But in my case, they did. And we're going to find out exactly why. All right, guys. Yep, she's on one. The year of celebration just turned into the year of warfare. And unfortunately, I got a whole nother year or more of this bullshit. So grab your popcorn. There will be moments of levity at some point. But for the most part, make sure you guys tune in. And the book, Nicci versus Goliath, The Cost of Justice, will be available for you to purchase and pre-order February 28th. And also, well, I'm going to save that. But the documentary, baby, is coming. So, might be down, but I'm definitely not out. Please say a prayer for my sister. She ended up with a flesh-eating bacteria, so she is in the hospital for a very, very, very long time. And we are working through all these things as a family, and I know that there's a reason that God has put this on my plate and given this assignment to me. And I just want y'all to tell a friend to tell a friend. This shit between me and Lionsgate is back again. All right, peace, you guys. Love y'all, and victory is indeed mine. Peace.